Before you set off on your Mod 2 bike test, the examiner is going to ask you 3 questions known as the Show Me and Tell Me, which are about basic bike checks, and a question about carrying a passenger or heavy load. There are 12 possible Show Me Tell Me questions and 3 possible passenger questions. The examiner is going to randomise 1 Show Me, 1 Tell Me and 1 passenger question. A Show Me question requires a simple demonstration to answer it, and a Tell Me or passenger question requires a verbal explanation only. Each examiner may phrase the questions in his own way, but it will be very obvious what he's asking. Give all the information or collect a minor fault, but there's no excuse for not knowing what the answers are. Show me how you would check the operation of the engine cutout or kill switch. No need to start the bike up, just simply show operating the switch. Identify where the brake fluid reservoir is and tell me that you have a safe level of hydraulic fluid. So simply point out the front brake fluid reservoir and explain that with the bike level, you'll check the level of the brake fluid in the glass window, that it's above any lower mark. Now some examiners do ask to identify the rear brake fluid reservoir. Just simply give the same explanation. Show me how you would check that the horn is working on this machine. Turn the ignition on and press the horn. Show me how you would switch your headlamp from dipped to main beam. Now on modern bikes, this is the one you're going to have to start the engine up, otherwise the headlight won't work. So check you're in neutral, start your bike up, operate the high beam switch, and point out your blue warning light on the dashboard. Show me how you would check that the brake light is working. Turn your ignition on, pop your left hand behind the brake light to get a reflection, and independently operate the front and rear brake levers. Show me what checks you would make on the steering movement before using this machine. So for this, it's best to sit on the bike, so front brake on you get, and then demonstrate and explain that a full range of movement left and right is possible in the steering, nothing's restricting it, and that the steering head bearing, pointed out there, feels smooth. Now for the brake question, sometimes it comes as, show me how you check the operation of the front brake, or show me how you would check the operation of the brakes. Whichever one you're asked, sit on the bike and demonstrate the operation of the brakes, that they work, that they release, and there's no excessive travel or sponginess or softness, whichever word you want to use, in the operation of those levers. Tell me how you check your tyres to ensure they are correctly inflated, have sufficient tread depth, and their general condition is safe to use on the road. Now, being a tell me question, it's a verbal explanation only. So for the tyre pressure, you'll check your owner's manual for the correct pressure setting and use an accurate tyre pressure gauge to check them. The tyre tread depth should be a minimum of 1 mm across the central 3/4 and all the way round each tyre. And a visual check for any damage, splits, tears, bulges in the tyre. Identify where you would check the engine oil level and tell me how you would check that the engine has sufficient oil. So again, verbal explanation only. Know whether you've got a sight glass, in which case make sure the glass window is clean. Check the level of engine oil with the bike level in that glass window. And if you have a dipstick, know how to unscrew it, clean it off, reinsert it, and check the level of engine oil against any marks on it. Tell me how you would check the condition of the chain. A verbal explanation only, no need to touch the chain, but you would check the chain tension according to the owner's manual. After adjustment, make sure that the back wheel is still correctly aligned in the frame using the reference marks either side, and that the chain isn't rusty, and keep it lubricated. Tell me how you would check that the lights and reflectors are clean and working. So again, a verbal explanation only for what's being demonstrated here, but a walk around the bike for a visual check of lights, that they're clean, not damaged, and including the reflector at the back, it's a legal requirement to have one. And then an explanation that you would start your bike up and one by one check all your lights. Headlight, indicators, tail light, brake light, number plate light. You can get a reflection off your hand off a building or window, or even ask someone else if they're working for you. Now the passenger question, or load question, all concern carrying a passenger or putting a heavier load on your bike. There are 3 possible questions, you're going to get one of them. Tell me what adjustments you would make to the machine if you were carrying a pillion or a heavy load. You might need to adjust your tyre pressures, check your owner's manual. You might need to slacken the chain a little bit. It's on the DVSA list as an answer here, but not known anybody do that when carrying a passenger. Your rear suspension may need firming up. Your front headlight aim may need dipping down. There's usually an adjustment you can make to do that. And adjust your mirrors to be able to see round your passenger. Tell me how carrying a passenger or a heavy load would affect the handling of the machine in general. So a little acronym here, CABS, cabs. Cornering will be harder and the passenger may not like it. Acceleration is going to take longer and you should accelerate smoother for the passenger's sake. Braking will take longer and again you want to be smoother for the passenger. And your steering may feel lighter. What would you tell a pillion passenger before they get on the back of your bike? Now there could be quite a lot of things here, but the examiner will be satisfied with this information. That they should sit on the seat facing forwards, wearing the proper protective equipment, that they should hold onto the grab rails or to the rider, that they should keep the feet on the pegs, lean with the rider in the bends, sit still especially when going slowly, and brace yourself a little bit with your arms when accelerating and braking.